I had to take early redundancy. Mrs. Lewis. 3 sons been made redundant. 1 son-in-law, 1 daughter. My own brother-in-law, made redundant, been on a training course, now unemployed. For the first time in his life. Moving off. He's been made redundant. Mr. Harris used to be a director of Brymbo Steelworks. Arthur Harrison, Jack Matthias, Joe Hallam, Brian Jenkins, Little Joe, Chris and Mendows, he was also made redundant. Last year, Brymbo Steelworks closed after 200 days. 1,125 people made redundant. This included my wife and myself, 3 brothers, nephews, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws. I was related to well over 100 people who were made redundant at the same time.
All 4 brothers worked to the very end, the final cast of Brymbo Steel.
After the announcement killed you, it gutted you like. And then sort of a week went, and then it just got drifted back to normal until the end, really, the end week. The end week was the worst, really. It was coming near and near, like, just like a death sentence, really. Now. And the last day was terrible.
A lot of the people who had worked on the plant, and a lot of the people who wasn't working on that shift come in to see the last broom being moved. We held the broom in the furnace for everybody to come and look at it. You know, the people from the bottom end of the line come down to watch it coming out. It was a very, very sad occasion. Something you don't experience. We've never experienced it before. 32 years working Brymbo.
There was a lot of people there to watch, and yet you were alone, sort of thing. Yeah. I was there by myself, where normally, in a normal day, somebody to come up and talk to you, you know, as you're casting or carried on, you know, but there was nobody there, like, you were alone, and everybody sort of behind you, you felt that behind you, and then all of a sudden, the last cast ended, and everybody disappeared.
Now that's to say goodbye to a lot of people who when you're saying goodbye, don't look at you. Because we work together. I've worked together with most of them people have worked with me all my life. And what do you do after being in the works 32 years? I apply for jobs. At least 20 firms all over North Wales and even into Cheshire. I got a few replies, but most of them said, not suitable at this stage, and I took it that was my age mainly. If you're written off when you're 49, well, it's a terrible thing. I had to sit down and say to myself, well, I'm not going to be written off when I'm 49. I never thought I'd be going into this sort of business. And a year ago, when we were all made redundant, I just didn't know what my future would be. Nobody did. I've set myself up as a private investigator. I certainly question myself whether I'm doing the right sort of job. People come up to me and say, it's not nice, it's not pleasant, but the process of law has to be served, and it's my job to see that it is served. I made the decision when I was made redundant to go into this type of work. It wasn't a pleasant decision, but being made redundant wasn't pleasant either. Mr. Williams?
Correct.
Terence Williams?
Correct.
Got some documents on behalf of John Keneally, solicitor of A.W. Brown and Lloyd, for their client.
What do you want me to do with that one?
No.
No. It'll be messy, won't it? Right. Right,
Carry on. Where's the place?
Lovely, in the middle, lovely. Make sure it's all the corners, all the edges. So we could have problems again, you see.
Let it go over, Chief.
Right, lovely.
I got it.
Right, we'll do the same again.
Image, what is it? It's that vital first impression. It's the image that you project to the outside world, and that could be critical in the way that you're selling yourself. Within job interview situation, that initial impression that you make could make or break it for you. Now, could you just stand up for a minute, please, and could you just turn to the person next to you? I'm going to have to do it with you, Andy. Will you just shake hands with whoever's next? Now, you're going to back off a little bit, are you, when you're shaking hands? How would you normally? Yeah, pleased to meet you, Andrew.
Hello.
Right, that feels... Oh, my word, that's a bit of a vice-like grip here. OK, sit down.
The effect of the redundancies on Brymbo has been devastating. Of the 1,100 or so that were made redundant, 600 have been on training, which meant that their wages were topped up and they were earning something like they earned over the last 12 months of their employment. 400 of those have now left that training, and they really haven't got any future around this area.
I've come to the end of my course now, innit? You know, and I want to know if there's any jobs for painting and decorating, really. I'm getting a bit worried now, you know, because I don't feel there's nothing about for painters and decorators.
The thing we all miss is the camaraderie of Brymbo.
You remember all the good times you've had there? I know there'll be no more good times, like, because Brymbo will never reopen again. We're having a baby in January, and both very excited and happy about it. The only drawback is that I'm unemployed.
If I can't get a job, I can't pay my mortgage. If I can't pay my mortgage, I'm on the road. So where am I going to live?
The sooner we all forget it, the better, because you can't bring it back. They're not going to reopen it again. Get on with your life and think of the future. That's what I'm going to do.
One of the reasons I want to be a self-list is that I can be my own boss. I can work on my own. Nobody's going to make me redundant again.
I did a course on plumbing, and I found the training was smashing. But at the end of it all I think it did for us was keep us off the door for 12 months. Nothing more.
If it has to come to it, I would go abroad. I don't like leaving the family behind, but I don't like living on the dole either.
You don't appreciate something till you've lost it. You don't appreciate it till you've lost it.
I wanted to be an accountant, but as advised I was too old. So that's why I became a private investigator. I just needed a car, which I already had, a pair of binoculars, which I've got, new suit, business cards, letter-headed paper, a typewriter. There was very little financial outlay. So even if I don't succeed, I haven't lost a lot.
Serving injunctions can be very difficult. Of course, most of the people who serve injunctions on don't really want to be served, and they don't appreciate being served.
Some documents to be served on your county court documents. Application for injunction.
What does all that mean?
You'd have to read it, I can only deliver them. Visited 26 Mill Lane, Clwyd, on the 12th of November, 1991. At 1900 hours. No one in. Tried to get some more information from the neighbours about Mr. Brooks' habits, but no one was in either of the adjoining properties. The driving force behind anything I do is to keep my standard of living. Whenever I'm going out to do a job as him, it might not be a nice, attractive job, but that won't matter. I'm determined to keep my standard of living up, and that's my driving force.
When we had our redundancy, a lot of people thought it was a lot of money, but I didn't. No way. I thought it was peanuts. So we didn't spend anything, because you don't know what's happening in the future. Since Jeff and I were made redundant, I'm frightened to lose the house, because if the phone goes, that might be a job for Jeff.
I've got some urgent injunction papers that I need serving in St.
Right, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
again is a worry.